We have a surprise guest too. All right. And I kept him off the schedule just, because time is, tight. So just in case we couldn't make it and everything else. And I'm not even going to introduce him. You guys should know exactly who he is. Well, he should be here. Okay, there we go. All right. So for the panel just coming in, all your microphones are muted. If you could please unmute them. We're going to do a transfer. All right. So our designers will say goodbye, whatever they want to do, and then we'll roll over to Makers Making Living panel. Cool.
Those who are staying make Shane suffer as always. So
We'll do
Yes,
our best.
sir. Can do.
Well, he
counting on
said.
you.
You love those hot ones.
UK is coming. UK is coming. Smurf is coming.
Don't forget the pilk. He's loving the pilk.
Smurf is going to be so much fun for some people.
Oh yeah.
Today in London, crazy Americans started jamming bean boodles down some foreigners' visit, screaming "suffer!" But guys, thank you very much. Again, I couldn't do this without you. I do appreciate your time.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you. Thanks for all your
Thank
doing.
you.
Jonas.
Thanks, Shane.
You're welcome, guys. See you later.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you, Shane. Thank you for
Bye.
having me be part of it, man.
Anytime at all. All right, let's do it this way. All right, so I don't know if you guys have been watching, but yeah, we've already been on for 3 hours and 11 minutes, and we are currently at $1,632, which is
Heck
absolutely
yeah.
awesome.
Let's go.
Nando first.
And a
Why me
you-
first?
Hold on. Hold on. I know. Oh, I get to do this. Oh, that's awesome.
Just kick them
Bye.
off. We like Wax.
Oh,
I look good like that.
Okay.
oh my God, he's still here. Wait, no, wait. I just want to make sure I have him selected because I don't want to all of a sudden kick someone else off by accident.
I'm gonna kick myself. Bye
I
bye.
would be so
Oh my-
offended.
We love you, Wexter.
Bye.
Him and I have a great hate relationship because he's still mad that it took me like 5 years to get his name right because I'm horrible with names. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing today on this lovely Saturday? I don't know in your own time zones, but I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. Thank you so much for joining us today on the 1440 Makers 2023 Hawaiian Fire Charity Drive. The topic for this panel is makers making a living. I thought it'd be a good idea to get makers from all around, from different areas, from making their own machines, opening up their own businesses, creating incredible events, to content creation, and then hybrids of mixtures of everything. And I thought it'd be great to have you guys here to share your own stories. What got you into it? Just what drives you? What was your ambition? Are you at that point now where it's like, you're living the dream type of thing? So I'm sure some of you are, because with the work that you've done, see, he laughs. But I thought it'd be really great to have you guys on and share your experiences and possibly answer some of chat's questions. So if we can, I would like to do have you guys quickly introduce yourself, what you guys do, for the very few people who might not know who you guys are. And we'll start with Mr. 3D Musketeer.
Oh God, you put me first. Oh, this is always a fun one. Hi, my name is Grant. I own 3D Musketeers. We are a rapid prototyping facility. Been doing it for 15 years now as a hobby and a profession. And we have a YouTube channel as well, where we talk about what we do, how we do it, things going on in the industry. And I guess I'm most known for, giving it to companies that kind of deserve it from time to time, on the internet, quite a few days a week. So glad to be here, Shane. Thanks for having this thing.
No problem. Thank you for joining us. Now, I'm just going in like the order from what I see on my screen. So I'm going to go with Mr. David Randolph.
Hey there, this is David. How y'all doing today? I am the owner, well, former owner now of Printed Solid. We were acquired about 2 years ago by Perusa, and we sell all the good stuff. But in addition to that, we manufacture our own filaments in-house and enclosures and all that fun stuff.
Thank you. Now, our next person is someone who I met a very long time ago during the New York Maker Faire, and I was fortunate enough to see them take their dream and turn it into something amazing. And I know that the community is very, just absolutely amazed and very happy and proud of her success. So the one and only Ellie.
Hi all, I'm Ellie. It's pretty crazy that in 2017 I showed off. Okay, me. Who am I? Hi, I'm Ellie. I have a company, Cocoa Press. I make 3D printers that print chocolate, and finally are actually shipping kits to people, which is crazy because it's been a lot of years. And the first time I showed it off was 2017 New York Maker Faire, and it's wild that Shane and Matt Stultz and a few other people were there. And I was not even in the 3D printing section. I was in the food section. So yeah, it's been a pretty crazy journey, going from it being my hobby to my full-time thing. I don't remember what else we had to say in the intro. So hi.
That works. Now, the next person up had an idea, ran with it, created a very, very successful event, and took it this year and transformed it into the next evolution, the next thing, let's say. The one and only Mr. Chris Polinsky.
Hey everybody, good morning. Chris here. Gee, Shane, not quite else sure what else to say there. So 3D printing enthusiast is where it all kind of started out. Got into it in 2017 with the help of a little print shop up the road from me up in Newark, Delaware, that at the time owned by Matt Gorton, but it is Printed Solid. And a couple of conversations and a trip out to Murph spawned a question. I'll share a picture that's a kind of fun picture later. But yeah, Earth became a thing in 18. And this past event, we rebranded to 3D Printopia in the hopes to be more inclusive to all things 3D printing. A lot of folks don't know what RepRap is, and we were kind of tired of explaining that when we were talking about our event. So we hope people appreciate it. We're not turning our back on RepRap. It is heart and soul of what 3D printing is all about for those of you who are in the know, but just trying to be a little bit more outwardly friendly. But anyway, that's what I'm here for today. And as Shane pointed out, I like to also smoke meats and more recently cheeses, and that gets Shane excited. So we might talk about that some too.
Yeah. We'll see.
Joel
what you
is
can...
excited.
Exactly.
Joel likes cheese. I like cheese a lot. Yeah.
Oh,
Joel
this is
likes
good
everything.
cheese. All right. Well, I will go ahead and be quiet from here and let you go to the next, my friend.
Very quick.
Okay.
I'm going to interrupt you 2 seconds. David, thank you. Shane, you have one of each torture, courtesy of David and his $500 donation,
What?
which
Whoa.
took us over the $2,000 mark.
Oh, God
We are
damn it.
now at $2,162.
Yeah.
I'm very happy. Oh my God. I am very happy about that. And I'm also
What
Gotta pay to
tortures?
play.
Can you elaborate on the tortures for
So
So
everybody?
he has a Bean Boozled, which I will join him on. He has a Go to Hell, which is his spicy jelly beans. He has a Toxic Waste. He has a pumpkin
sound
spice
awful.
coffee.
they are awful.
Can we do
And-
all the beans at one time?
He has
No.
the Pilk.
Wait, you know what though? Like in all honesty, though, for that Yeah, I really
We could offer
Oh.
Shane 3 trade-ins. And,
no,
well,
no,
that's
no, no,
cutting
no,
out.
no. You know what? No, 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 no. We're gonna do it this way. We're gonna do it this way.
Yeah, that works.
Since David just since you just dropped 5 large, he can think about how to do it where I do everything all at once. Well, all the jelly beans at once, because the
Oh,
other one's
stop
sour
stalling.
candy.
Just have a
No.
jelly bean, and then
I
then
was
you
gonna
have
do all at
another
once while
jelly
Joel,
bean.
lets the world know who he is.
Oh, is it my turn now? Is it
Yeah.
my
We can
turn?
offer this as
Okay,
an
let's do
alternative
it.
to torturing Shane.
Ooh.
This is the $100 or more redeem.
I had to put that up there. It's not up yet. All right. For those of you who've been around for a while, you know our next guest started off as streaming as a hobby and is now created his own brand, travels
brand,
the world, educates everyone as far as the wonders of 3D printing, 3D manufacturing, along with from what I saw now, Network Drive Bay, the 24.
Yeah.
So the one and only, I'm gonna say it right this time, Joel Telling.
Thanks, Jane. Those are some kind words right there. Oh, look at that, Chris. I remember that. Hi, everybody. I'm Joel Telling. I own and host 3D Printing Nerd, a company that produces shows. We air on YouTube, and we attempt to educate and inspire, all while having a really good time. We cover the additive industry, from the $99 discount machines at Micro Center to the multi-million-dollar machines that print all sorts of crazy future materials at industrial conferences. And I'm just really thankful that Shane contacted me and said, hey, can you be a part of this? I actually woke up early. I got an extra big coffee, and I'm just happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Chris, you want to take over for a little bit while I go prepare to
Actually, I was going to pass it off to Krusty, because here are I'm doing 2 Bean Boozled since I don't have your wonderful hot ones. So I got my 2.
Okay. I'm going to be literally right back. I'm going to take care of something. I'm going to come back.
So am I doing jerky, or are we waiting for Shane to get tortured?
No, you're going to sit there and temporary host duties for about 5 minutes.
Okay. I can do that.
Thank you.
I can do that. Well, let's see. So I think Ellie is proof that you don't have to have a beard to be successful at making money in 3D printing. What would you all agree is a common driving factor for you to that's driven you beyond the hobby into turning this into something that you can pay the bills with, or
Can I say
hopefully someday pay
spite?
the bills with?
Can I go with spite to start here?
That's
I had a lot of people doubting that you could print chocolate at the beginning. And so when it was a hobby, well, it started with the school project, and it turned in from a school project into a hobby because of spite. And then I actually really enjoyed it and wanted to do something cool. But
some of the best things ever invented are from spite, Ellie.
Yes.
Obviously.
I think so. Yeah, I was tired of people calling it the shitty chocolate printer, so I said, okay, we're gonna make it the good chocolate printer.
That's one of the best reasons. I mean, being able to, someone says it can't be done, proving them wrong is probably the best incentive out there.
That's right.
Mine wasn't necessarily spite. Mine was more on the other end of the spectrum of being like just wanting to bring people along for the journey, which could be powered by spite, but mine was not.
You're a better person than
I think
me.
yours was.
I wouldn't say that.
I think yours was more driven by maintaining your sanity.
I was well, as the story goes, I wanted to create something to hold my GoPro while I chased the kids around during Easter hunting Easter eggs. And I designed in OpenSCAD a GoPro camera rig. And just the process of doing that was really cool. And I thought others would be interested in it. And so I just went forward thinking that I'm on this journey of learning and others might want to come along and learn with me. And apparently they did.
Hey, Joel, I'm gonna raise my hand right there because before you said it, I was thinking GoPro camera mount. I remember that video. I remember finding that video and saying, okay, yeah, that 3D printing thing I've been thinking about. Yep, it,
That's-
I'm gonna do it now because of this guy. So Joel, it's all your fault. Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
And Chris, for you, it was never about making a living necessarily, right? It was more about
Yeah.
bringing the hobby to more people and sharing that Murph experience with more people on the East Coast.
Yeah, so to be perfectly clear, I'm not we're not making a living on the East Coast Rep Rap Festival. It is really as Nick and I'm going to include Lauren, Vicky, and I refer to it. It is more of a labor of love than anything else. We do it because um, we want to for the community. We threw it out there once in 18 and people said yes. And they came back in 19 and said yes more. And we went offline for the COVID years and did fun things. And we continue to come back and people keep saying yes more. And, I can remember, Ellie, out at our first event with, at 18 with one of the first revisions of the machine and trying to figure out, where they're going to go with it at that point of time and how things were going to happen and there are other companies, Gloop, that were born. 3D Gloop was born at Earth 18. So it's been a neat, I don't want to use the word experiment, but it's kind of an experiment. It's been a neat little petri dish, and things keep coming into it, and it keeps growing and evolving. And yeah, we're not doing it to make a living, but we do it for that community angle, and we love. I like bringing people together. If I had a big house, like the big houses that I see now that are really cool, or I know it's against the times. It's not a tiny home, but has anybody seen the new barn dominium fad that's happening, where it's like a
Yes.
giant barn, and then in the front side you get like a very small type condominium, or basic, house, but you got a big back end that's enclosed for you, like, huge gatherings and whatnot. I'd have one of those houses if I could, because then I could have some more gatherings. But that's for me is what it's about, bringing people together and having a good time and learning in like minds and whatnot.
Earth 2018 is what brought me into this community and got me into 3D printing. Ryan dragged me there against my will. And now I'm sitting in an office with 4 different printers of my own. And it's all because of that one show. So,
David, I know you have a long path and background. I mean, we've talked before. I know your history. What gravitated you towards the 3D printing side out of all of the things that you've done throughout your career?
I think the easiest way to put it is that a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I used to work for a video game company developing video game hardware and software. And I ironically worked primarily in the legal department as their open source technical advisor. So my job was to sit there and make sure that open source was a big part of it, and that they were fully compliant on everything, and they loved it. They loved having that, and they loved kind of giving back and all that. And that led into the oh, look at this patent about to expire, and this kind of birth of open source hardware. And I became fascinated with that entire thing. So I guess the short answer is that lawyers got me interested in 3D printing. And it was fascinating, it was fun, and since the very first day I got into it, I've always been a builder maker. I was doing lasers long before all 3D printers were around. And when those designs started coming out, and I started releasing some stuff, and I have been stuck in it ever since. It was a secondary career for a very long time. I primarily focused on enclosures since ABS was our first material, and no 3D printer was doing a decent job. And that bled into me working with Matt here at Printed Solid. And then I took the leap and left my job, my daytime job to take on Printed Solid, and then kick Matt out. No. He left for family. He left for family. And
You know, you
I
got to
still-
say it publicly. I understand.
yeah.
I still have your first business card, so I know the real story.
Yes.
Grant, that leaves you. I mean, you've got your hands in a lot of different parts of this, from the content creator to the printer and the print farm, from the scanning and so many different sides of it.
Yeah.
What twisted your arm to get you here?
I have always been a geek from day one, was always taking things apart, putting them back together. There was always spare components. Those are for weight savings and aerodynamics, and I will accept no other arguments to that statement. And when 2008 hit, we had this big movement, RepRap, that fundamentally allowed somebody like me, like anybody else, anybody that's watching, literally anybody, to take an old 2D printer that you can likely pull out of a dumpster, rip it apart for its rails, its parts, and then build it into something that could make anything that you could design. And that is so cool, right? Just the ability for me to take something that's up here. There's a lot that goes on up here, okay, and put it here. That's what drew me toward it, right? I don't have engineering degrees. I have business degrees. And so I said, all right, well, I could probably play engineer. People probably won't ask for the degree when you have a business, and they don't. And what we've done is we grew a company. We do 3D printing. We do product development. We do tons of 3D scanning. Actually, I just bought another 3D scanner. I have problems.
Of course you did.
Yes, Artec Leo. There's a fun story to it, but I don't want to tell it until it's all completely done. But an Artec Leo. But you know, our goal is to help take what is up here and put it into what is in your head, put it into your hands, what might be in your hands, and turn it digital. The content creation came about because we found that we were getting asked the same questions over and over and over again. I said, okay, easy way to solve this. Let's just start a YouTube channel. Let's make 10 videos answering the top 10 questions that we had. Yep. Definitely left it at 10 videos. And I found that I love sharing my experience, right? I cut my teeth in industrial additive manufacturing, running $80,000+ 3D printers that ran on, you know, I would make a materials order and it would cost more than most average 3D printers, or than most upper end 3D printers at this point, right? The maintenance contract for these machines was $9,500 per year per machine, and we had 5 of them. You know, we worked with clients ranging from the Smithsonian to Snoop Dogg, right? So really all over the spectrum for clientele. Wow. Yeah, I have a mini Snoop Dogg next to my desk because nobody ever asks about the Smithsonian. They always ask to see Snoop Dogg. But the
can you print them in chocolate?
I mean, I could, yeah. Yeah, we like to remind people every, you know, mid-April or so every year that we printed Snoop Dogg. It's always a fun one. And once I do the Cocoa Press, we will have to print Snoop. That would be fun.
Unfortunately, I heard he's changed his tune in the last week or so. So mid-April or so might not be the best time for him to be printed anymore. I'll leave it there.
Interesting. All right. I obviously have some research to do, but yeah, then the YouTube channel just kind of took off, and I said, you know, I love sharing this information. I love sharing the tech, and this was never meant to be a revenue generating stream. Thank God we went that route, because boy, howdy, it's been tough. Those that don't know, it is very expensive to start and run a YouTube channel if you are going to take it reasonably seriously. It is incredibly expensive. But I'm so glad that we did, because the people that we get to meet, the stories that we get to share, the places that we get to go, and kind of the cool tech that we get to work with is unmatched. It's completely unmatched. There's no industry like this that I've ever been in at the same time as going through like a whole renaissance period, but to the general public is effectively unknown. The general public doesn't know 3D printing. They still don't understand it. We still get the same questions asked, and the YouTube channel has been valuable for that. But hey, if we can make money doing the YouTube, which we're almost there. Last month, I think, was our first like reasonably well profitable month in a while.
Ooh, congrats.
Yeah. And unlike a lot of creators, we started with a editor, because I don't have that kind of time. I'm running this business. I've got a print job right now. I have 11 bottles of empty resin that I have gone through in the past 6 days. And I need another 40 bottles of resin to complete this print job, right?
Wow.
My job is to make parts for people and do design work. The YouTube thing was always an afterthought. Now it's becoming more of the forethought, because unlike the regular 3D printing business, content creation is not geo-locked. I can go anywhere in the world, and as long as I have decent internet, probably better than the internet that I have here, I can be a content creator. And that is such a cool opportunity. And at the same time, because we're content creators, people recognize us. I get recognized in public, and does it ever get not weird, Joel? Does it ever become normal when you get recognized in public? Okay.
So I've been asked this before. Being able to be recognized in public, I mean, it's a wonderful thing, because within our ecosystem, the people that recognize you and come up because they're thankful for something you've done or provided, and they want to show you what you've inspired them to make, typically. And it doesn't matter if they're 8 years old or 80 years old. Like, everybody still has this very common factor to it. It's at events, it is not weird. At events, it's just someone says, "Hey, Joel, what's going on?" And I'm like, "Hey, yeah," we get a selfie, we do stuff. It's not weird. Where it gets, when it's weird, and when it's always weird, is when it's out of context. And I like to tell people, I'm famous in context, or I'm famous in parts, because, I can go to the grocery store and no one knows who the flip I am. But when they do, "Oh, hey, you're Joel, right?" Then it gets weird, because all of a sudden now that fame has found itself in a more personal context. And so that still surprises me. That still feels
it's like
a
you
little
weren't
bit weird.
prepared for it. Where at events,
Not
you're
prepared.
prepared for it. Yeah.
Yeah. At events, you realize it's coming up, and it's just a part of what we do. So it does get non-weird at events and places where you would expect, just because it's just part of the job. But when you're in some random place somewhere and someone recognizes you, then it's a little weird. It's never, thankfully for us, like, we create wonderful content, right? We create good stuff, inspiring stuff. We create stuff that people think about. And so in the places where it's a surprise to be recognized, it's never a negative. And so there's at least that.
I think the strangest, sorry, really quick. I think the strangest place I've ever been recognized was the plumbing department of a Home Depot.
My strangest was a TSA agent was like, "Hey, I like your videos." I'm like, "What?"
Did you get through the line faster?
No.
Oh, I was on a cruise this past summer, a Disney cruise actually, which was very fun. And I'm at like this art class, like adult only, like pipe cleaner art class, because that's what happens on a Disney cruise apparently. And I'm in line, and this person in front of me says, "Hey, are you Ellie?" And I'm thinking we talked earlier in the week on this cruise. I'm like, I don't recognize, I don't remember talking to them on the cruise. And she goes, "Oh my goodness, my son and I saw you on the steps earlier. We have been debating whether or not it is you. My son thought I was crazy, but I can't believe it's really you. We saw you at Murph last year. So
Whoa.
anyway, that was
Wow.
this was one of the Disney small cruise ships too. It was like a 2,700 person ship. So that's my craziest story.
That's
And I
amazing.
think
That's
that
fun.
will remain my craziest story for many years because that was wild.
What?
At a pipe cleaner class.
And two people that went to Murph on the same small cruise in itself is just the most random thing I've ever
It's
heard.
statistically
Right?
improbable, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like this was a tech maker anything. Like, you know, this was a Disney cruise. I wasn't even on the cruise with any kids. It was just some friends and I.
Did you bring any chocolate?
No. Actually, wait, no, that's a total lie. I brought a Benchy and I have a photo of a boat on a boat. I cannot remember if I brought a chocolate Benchy or if I brought a plastic Benchy, but I have a photo of a boat on a boat. I'll tweet it later.
Well,
That's
thankfully,
amazing.
the cruise ship floats better than a Benji, so
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Well, I think between the 5 of you on the panel, we've got a pretty good representation of all sides of the industry, you know, from the manufacturer and the resale side to the, you know, the production side, to the content creator, to the events and the sharing. I think it's safe to say that we all have a very symbiotic relationship with each other. That none of us can do our jobs, for lack of better words, or you know, be successful at what we're doing without the positive way that everybody works together. You all, I mean, feel the same, that it's you know, the success of one of any of you, you know, plays together with the success of the others.
You know, I'll jump in here and say, from my perspective, it is a very symbiotic relationship. It has to be. You know, I really believe in that servant leader mentality. And at shows, people come up to me and they say, "Well, Chris, how's the event?" And if you're, you know, a sponsor that gave me money, I say, or it's actually the same answer for anybody. You tell me. It doesn't matter if you're a sponsor that gave me money, you're an exhibitor, you're attending the show. You tell me, how is the event for you? Because if it's good for you, it's great for me. If it's bad for you, it's bad for me. So, I mean, my job in this aspect is to help create that environment that brings in the different parts, and hopefully they want to be there and want to come back. And when you bring in the different parts at the right mix and the right variety, and you give things that people want to see, you know, I think that's what we're running into, you know, with our events. But if Dave wouldn't show up, and, you know, it was, you know, back in the day, it was Matt Gorton, you know, having a severe, you know, leap of faith. And I'm going to just share my screen real quick because this picture it's worth a share. This picture is from the ride out.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
To Murph 17. Matt Gorton over here, he was driving. Ron Zawara, Don Dagan, and then yours truly. It's less than 72 hours from this picture being taken, that Matt posed the question to the group of us as we're driving back from Murph. Hey, man, we live on the East Coast. There's a lot of people that use 3D printers on the East Coast, right? Why do we have to drive these 10 hours to go do this? So that's what really started it. So, you know, Matt was very gracious and kind of wrote us a check in blind faith to really get things going. And that allowed, you know, the opportunity for Ellie to show up, and others, and the guys at Gloop to show up that year and and start their journey down the path. And I begged Joel to come out, and Joel came out, and
sure did.
He helped us. He's been there with us from the beginning, helping us spread the word, to let people know that there's an event far away from where he lives, but it's also very cool. And Grant came out and helped us this year. Carson comes out, to her point, and she helps us every year as a volunteer. She's got, the baby strapped to one side and the radio strapped to the back of her shirt so that she can hear. And it is a symbiotic relationship in every aspect.
Makers helping makers.
Yeah.
It has always been about, this is one of those few communities where competing businesses can actually work together and understand that, yeah, okay, our clients are going to be split between us somehow. But if we are all just at each other's throats constantly, the industry itself doesn't move. And I think open source has so much to do with that, because this industry that we all know was pretty much founded upon open source. And the companies seem to understand the same thing, that if we work together, it becomes a better event that brings more money to all of us, and at the same time, more exposure to the industry as a whole. It is something where your enemies, if you will, are also your closest friends, right?
Frenemies.
Yep.
I was trying to refrain from using that term because it didn't feel like a good term, but sure.
The frenemy of my frenemy is my frenemy.
Yes.
I talk to my frenemies on a very daily basis, almost. Some of the people you would think, that I should be out there, beating up in a dark alley behind the skyrise. I will talk to them on a regular basis and, discuss to them about all the other fun stuff. We talk about collaborating, things like that. And, the fun thing is that we're all in the business. There's more to the business than 3D printing. And I always find it funny because, Ellie, she visits us on a regular basis. And you'd think when she comes down here, we're sitting there and we're talking 3D printers and chocolate and all that stuff. No, we're sitting there talking about boxes and shipping and plugins and how to
Shopify. Yep.
And Shopify.
I can see this conversation happening, and it warms my heart. That is so wonderful.
Dave has really become kind of like a mentor recently. I have visited Printed Solid at least 4 times over the past couple of months, and we just talked for a long time. I steal a lot of Dave's time.
And it's rarely about 3D printing. It's the other stuff, which is so much fun.
Well, it shows, Ellie, because your boxes are quite lovely.
Thank you. Tell that to insurance.
I'm sorry.
But Dave, I just found
you
out
need to
that
tell
we're
that in
frenemies.
story. Yeah, well, no, we're friends. That's different because we're good there. But please tell everyone the story of your boxes. Can you do that?
Yeah, I'm actually going to start 5 years ago. No, 3 years ago with this story, which is I was shipping a printer to Linus Tech Tips a long time ago, and
I remember that.
That was the version of the printer that I pretend doesn't exist anymore. If you notice, I still call the current printer version 1, which is technically also the past printer's version. Side note, anyone who bought that first printer is getting a free one of the current one, just because I appreciate them so much, and I don't want to support the old printer forever. But UPS put a pallet jack right through the printer. I mean, my shipping had problems too, but the pallet jack was not my fault. And then on the way back, they lost it. And the only way that I found it was because I had obnoxiously decorated this thing with stickers and Cocoa Press tape. And I had a friend who lived an hour away from me at a UPS store dropping off actually surprisingly 3D printed chocolate from a My Cuisine printer, because she was also interested in 3D chocolate printing. And she's at this UPS store and sees my thing, is like, oh, Ellie, congrats, I see you're shipping out printers. I've been on the phone every day with UPS for the last week and a half trying to figure out where this printer was. Turns out labels were swapped. They had totally lost it. I
Wow.
hopped in the car, I drove down, I got this printer back that I've been waiting for, that I've been trying to find for over a week. So the only reason I got it back was because I had the logos obnoxiously on the box. So fast forward to, a week or two ago, I'm talking to Dave and I'm like, hey, insurance, this, that, the other thing. We're talking about when it makes sense to pay for insurance, etc. And I think it was after that conversation, but maybe it was before. Yeah, okay, it was after that conversation. It's like 2 days later. A customer reported one of our packages was stolen, one of our printers that we shipped out. And, I'm like, oh, what is happening here? I just talked to Dave about this. So I go on and I look at the UPS photo. It is blurry as heck. I mean, you can kind of see like the blue chewy box, but the rest of the photo is, how can a company say that this was proof of delivery? So of course I had this box insured. I've opened an insurance claim. Ship out a new printer to the customer, etc. It gets denied automatically because apparently if you have your logo on the box, it's your fault that it got stolen. So I am currently working with them. They did actually, after my Twitter post, reopen the case. So I may or may not get some insurance money for that. But yeah, pretty wild that having my logo on it was the only reason that I got insurance money last time.
I got a workaround for you on that. Put the UPS logo all over the box. That way, anytime it disappears, it's their fault.
That checks out. I mean, USPS used to do that with priority mail. You can buy the things got priority mail all over it. So yeah, that checks out.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just cut up a whole bunch of those free boxes they'll give you and stick it to the outside.
I remember when the LTT thing happened, Ellie, and I remember talking to you about it. And I'm like, you know what we do? We put cellular trackers into boxes that are really, really important. And I remember talking to you about it because at the time, AirTags were not a thing. You couldn't get AirTags. Now, if you are shipping something that is worth more than what it will cost to replace it, right? It is very, very expensive. And it's a one-time thing. Put an AirTag in it. It is the easiest $40. And if you got a really cool client, include a return mailer. They'll send it back to you. But I've shipped boxes worth $50,000, $60,000, and I will put a cellular tracker, but we buy them for dogs. It's the only way to get them without putting a burner phone into a box, but they're designed to work for 72 to 96 hours. And that one time the tracker saved my bacon. It was when UPS lost a quinceañera cake topper. And I don't know if you've ever dealt with an upset Latin mother, but I can tell you it is not a pleasant experience. And we had a tracker in that box and we found it. Now,
that's
it was too late, and I had already reprinted and done everything and drove it to the mother. But yeah, shipping is one of those things as a business that you don't expect to be very difficult because, Amazon has it figured out. And it is one of the most difficult things outside of the day-to-day business.
I spent an irrational amount of time yesterday looking up HS codes for things that I honestly almost DM'd Dave, because one of the things I could not figure out was for filament. And I was like, I'm literally shipping Dave's filament to Canada. And I know Dave ships his filament to Canada. But I potentially figured it out. We'll see what customs says next week.
Since we're on shipping, can I share a really quick shipping story that I have? Because it's fantastic.
It makes me feel so much better.
A while ago, I collaborated with Captain Disillusion, and he was doing a series on the special effects of Flight of the Navigator. Fantastic, wonderful movie from the 80s, the 90s, Dave, 80s, 90s, right?
80s.
Something like that.
80s.
And the part where the spaceship has the steps that melt down, like the wall of the machine has these steps that melt down so the kid can climb in. The effects were just stop motion. And the artists had created a bunch of props to make stop motion animation of these. Well, what he wanted to do was recreate the stop motion, but he needed a jig to be able to put them all in. So he designed it and he reached out to me and he said, could you print this? And I'm like, of course, I'll print this for you. Yeah, absolutely. I printed it, what he made, I sent it off. It did not fit, didn't work. So he said, okay, I'm going to send you a couple of the pieces to do some tests with. And I was like, okay, so I did a couple different prints, tested them out, made sure they fit into the jig, I modified his model a little bit so they could be rotated a little bit or moved, whatever. It worked great. It worked so good. So I put that and the 2 pieces in a box and I sent it off, and it was lost. Like UPS or FedEx, I think it was FedEx. FedEx said, no, we delivered it. I'm like, no, you didn't. He was watching all day out of his door. You did not deliver it. No, we delivered it. And so they gave me a couple addresses around his. So I'm on the phone with him while he's walking around his neighborhood, like peeking out over fences and looking on porches and stuff, but essentially never found. So at the end of the day, FedEx lost original props from Flight of the Navigator. And there was no recourse. There was nothing. And I didn't put a dog cellular tracker in it. That was, I didn't have an air tag or anything. But I mean, going forward, like high profile items like that definitely get some sort of tracking device put in them, because that's crap. Ruining my childhood.
Not to change the subject quick, but if I may, we just crossed $2,500.
Let's go.
Out of the initial $5,000
That's
goal.
amazing.
Where's Shane to
amount?
actually do the things that was paid for like
Right.
45 minutes ago?
Unfortunately, I can't see the list of people who are donating, so Shane will have to thank them later.
He's slacking.
My producer
I can
David,
help with
just
that.
from his company Scrapjack, gave $100. I see in the chat. Good
Yeah.
job,
Awesome.
David.
Thank
Guys,
you.
yeah, let
And
me go
thank
down the
you
list
to
because I have
3D
been
Gloop Andrew.
Yeah, I have been keeping track of this. I've just been working behind the scenes. So let's see. Cruising Geek. Oh, sorry. Cruising Girl / Geek Girl, $30. Thank you very much. I missed that one from before. Stefan Z, $10. Thank you very much. Neil 3D
that's a good
Prints,
one.
$50. Thank you very much. Daniel Deslandis, $30. Mr. Randolph, $500. Thank you. Anonymous, $100. Thank you very much. John Olson, $42.50. Thank you very much. 3D Gloop, Andrew Mayall. Yeah. Mayhall, thank you. Sorry. $100. Scrapjack, $100. And for all you guys who decided to torch me, yes, I will continue. I just didn't want to interrupt the excellent stories.
Oh no, we are happy to be interrupted to watch you suffer. It's fine.
All right.
While
David,
he
do I-
suffers, I'm gonna leave you with him.
No,
for
no,
a
no,
few,
no,
and I
no,
will
no,
be
no,
back
no,
in
no,
just a
no,
minute.
no. Because did somebody? I think somebody might have.
There's
maybe-
another Bean Boozled, by the way. Just
God damn it!
because I already ate it and I got dead fish again.
All right, so I'm gonna, since it was such a generous offer, I'm gonna do 3 at the same time and die.
Ooh.
Your suffering brings the community together.
It's
Yeah,
true.
and
sure it
It's
does.
I will be back in just a minute with a new jug of water.
Yes.
Yeah,
Don't forget to
you're gonna need
hydrate,
it.
Even the
people.
dogs.
Don't forget to
excited see
hydrate.
this.
Hydrate,
And the
stretch,
viewers.
eat.
Don't forget to hydrate.
Oh, good. Mm. Oh God, that is awful.
Is it foul? Is it gross?
Describe it. Describe it to us in excruciating detail.
I'm trying to be fair. Whoa.
Share your pain.
There it is. This is the pinkest he has been this entire time, and I apologize for the dog. She's giving the 4-year-old a hard time for her lunch, so she's now in my lap.
That's fair.
Was that a
That's
oh,
the bucket.
That's
the
a bucket handy. Oh geez.
Mhm.
The bucket has been used.
Nope, not yet.
It's about to. Oh, very nice, Chris.
Oh, look at that. That's appropriate right there. That is appropriate.
Someone needs to screenshot Shane's facial expression from about 30 seconds ago or 10 seconds ago.
Yeah, can we get a clip of that? Just
No.
for no reason, really.
Maybe a GIF.
I mean, it's all being.
Did you say
recorded, so it
GIF?
can definitely
We can argue about this again.
Yes.
probably.
I just
Choosy
no.
moms choose GIF. All right.
And Shane's gone.
Open S guide. You can't judge me for Jeff.
Affair.
My body just will not swallow this.
Is it? What did you get?
Death. Oh, God, that was okay. Where is this? Okay. Yeah, let's see redeems. Yeah, it'd be great.
Oh, there are arguments in the chat too about
What?
GIF versus GIF.
Oh, good. Let them battle it out.
Oh, you know what? I don't even have this YouTube chat open. I have the Zoom chat open where Dave is, actively helping me with international shipping codes.
I mean,
so.
he put it in there in the YouTube chat. I think West 3D did it as well. So.
Oh, thank you, everyone. Turns out I had actually gotten the correct one. It just took me far too much time to figure it out. Like, I ended up opening up the entire 4,500 page document.
A whole group of people thinking one thing doesn't make it right, Ellie.
Phone a friend when you can phone a friend.
Yeah, take the lifeline. It's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Sometimes you need the lifelines.
Apparently Shane does here wants to raise $1 million for.
Jeez, Shane.
The fires.
What? Nah.
As Liz put it, spitters are for quitters there, Shane.
Oh.
You back with us, Shane? Are you okay?
No.
No, he's
That
now
was
doing
not
the
a good
toxic
idea.
waste.
I think you have to wash it down with something, don't you?
I just
Pilk.
did.
Well,
You washed it down with the pilk?
Pilk.
Yeah, wash down with the pilk.
I already did.
Pilk.
I'm sure there was another one in the list somewhere. It's
Pilk.
It's half
Pepsi and
Pepsi,
milk.
No,
half
well, what does
milk.
it sound like? Oh, come on. It's
No, because in Australia, we found out from the last panel, it's pilk is pickle juice and milk.
Oh, but
Doesn't
yours is
it-
Pepsi
There's
and
no
milk.
way
And
in
it's an
hell I'm
official
doing that.
product. Like,
Wouldn't
it's
that
sold in stores.
curdle?
You think?
Yes.
All right,
But then again, in
since-
Australia, weird things happen in Australia, so I don't think the laws of physics and food work there.
Dude, they have mutant spiders.
Is that an
that'll
upside
eat
down
you.
joke?
No, but
This is fun.
Oh, that's bad. Okay.
I will be back.
So, anyways, sorry guys for watching me.
Sorry, I think it
Whatever
was
that
well
was.
enjoyed across all parties here.
Yeah, I was
we're
gonna say, I
watching-
thought that it was raise funds and then it was watch you suffer. I thought that was the priority list for this event.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
uh,
that suffering is helping those in need. So just, I mean,
If
I'm
you too
enjoying
want
it.
to see Shane suffer, please open your wallets.
please.
Callers are waiting.
When
Wait,
it comes
what's,
to one
what was
cup of
that?
coffee a day, you can watch Shane suffer.
And hey,
No,
I'm just gonna share the love and say Chris can suffer too. Mr. Krusty out there.
yes.
He
He
has
has a spicy jerky.
He's dying to
Mhm.
eat some spicy jerky, people. $100, and he would be glad to do so.
Yeah.
See, he's just a big baby. He had to lower it. I'm sorry,
how
he had to raise
how
the price.
spicy is spicy jerky? Like
It
is
says
like-
extremely hot.
yeah, that's
It says
what
what
it says
kind of
on my
peppers is
label
it made
too.
with? Krusty, what kind of peppers? It says the hottest peppers on earth, but does it
It's got
specify?
scorpion powder on it.
Oh, scorpion. Okay,
They
that's some
ground up
serious-
scorpions and put it on
Yep.
your jerky.
Not
That's
scorpion pepper.
Scorpion pepper.
I liked my version better.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
Probably a little bit of both.
What's a scorpion pepper these days with Scovilles?
It's probably a lot.
Oh yeah, it's quite a few.
And they just found that newer, right? There's the new Guinness World Record pepper.
Yeah,
X.
Pepper X, which is 2.6 or so. Oh, a scorpion is child's play compared to Pepper X. It's only 1.2 million.
Only
that's it. Oh.
1.2.
That's like half. That's half.
I mean,
and it's
and
logarithmic,
that's
right?
That's less than half.
Well, the pickles that we were doing for the charity streams around Christmas of last year, Amish Ace and I is in the Lego community. Those were over 6 million Scovilles on the pickles.
Ooh. Bud,
That's not okay.
stomach
Negative.
ulcers. You
I
gotta be
wouldn't sit
careful.
for 3 weeks.
So
We're too bad after the first few.
we're now at 2634.50.
Sweet.
And, thank you to Lee Smith's Workshop for your $10 donation. They're like, thank you all for everything you do in the 3D print and YouTube community. Carol Sutton, $100. Cat 3D, hello dear friends, thank you so much for putting this event together. Big hugs from Katya. I hope I said that right, for $20.
Gotcha. Yeah. Cat 3D. I hope she's feeling better. She was down with Rona.
Oh.
Knock
human
on
malware
wood, I've
sucks.
still been lucky to have missed it. I have not gotten it yet.
Well, you never tested positive.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's
But-
the trick.
So I see the giant coup there, Chris. Behind you.
Frankie bed.
Yep, you're muted.
Chris is muted.
That was designed by Luby for my birthday a few years back.
Oh,
Also,
that's
that
right.
barber chair is beautiful.
Ah, thank you. So yeah, that's that was the Chris. I'm not. I think that was from the Brady Bunch idol, right? Is
that was designed off of she did a bunch of research and found authentic carvings and such that were in the museums, and it was all based off of pictures of the authentics of Ku. Ku is the Ku is like the god's god, the masculine god of war, god of fertility, and then was it Ka? I think it's Ku and Ka. Ka is the Mother Nature side.
Okay.
In him. But
This was one of my first Luban prints. To size it up to this scale, you can see
it's a few pieces.
Yeah.
So yeah, the back side
you cut it off flat. Okay.
And then it's sliced here. That was to well, here on these top pieces, these are 4 pieces across the top.
Oh.
So I had a question
once
now.
it gets down to this level, it's just one. Well, no, it's still 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the bottom is
So you use Luban to cut that up, but now newer versions of Prusa Slicer have the ability to cut and do the proper joining pieces. And I haven't used it yet. So does that functionality within Prusa Slicer, does that supersede what Luban can do?
I haven't used it. Grant's given it a so-so.
I know Tom used it, right? Tom used it in his video.
Prusa Slicer is simple in what it can do. I mean, it can do it. It's all a manual process and it's simple. Luban allows you to automate the breakups and the joints, as well as break it up into things like puzzle pieces that will interjoin and put patterns and such.
Okay.
So they both have a place.
The benefit of
Okay,
Luban is
good.
you just tell it the size you want the pieces to be, and then you just click cut.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it will automatically go through, cut the piece up into as many pieces. You can then you can go through and you can specify pins and everything. Then, I assume, given where we're moving with Prusa Slicer, that it will probably come to Prusa Slicer at some point. But yeah.
Okay.
Wow, I didn't know
That's
about
cool.
Luban. This is spectacular.
Yeah, and I'll also say that We the Builders, Todd Blatt's group, that does the Rosie the Builder, most recently did that Rosie the Builder was huge that they did out there in Arizona with Adam Savage in the museum.
Rosie the Riveter.
Good.
Yeah.
Anyhow, thank you for the correction. He uses Luban for everything they do. He used Luban. He helped us do the Sanjay.
That's
and
what it was.
Luban was behind that as well. So Luban is a great piece of software. It's just a little spendy.
We
Lots of good
still have
things are
Sanjay
spending.
sitting in our warehouse.
Yes, he's being kept good company with 6 foot Rick.
6 foot Rick. Are you
6 foot
eventually
Rick.
going to open a museum, David, and put all these out?
Right next to my retro computer museum. Yes.
Yes.
And I've owned Luban since 2018.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That was back when
2018
you could
was
get a permanent
5 years ago.
license for $60.
Yeah, I think they've added a slicing engine into it now as well, so you can actually slice directly from Luban.
I'm wondering now if Luban, then for Ellie and chocolate, we could make large chocolate sculptures.
So I've been working on a project for a little while, and it's very early still, but I commissioned somebody to design a model of Philadelphia City Hall, which is a gorgeous building. And I have just about the finished design now, and it's designed to be printed at about 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot, like cube size.
Okay.
And my goal is eventually to print that out of chocolate. I have not figured out the details of how I'm going to cut it up yet. So I'm looking at this software now, and this looks
okay.
good. That's going to be a giant print. Maybe I'll start with testing it on the XL or something.
And hey, Ellie, check out their community page on Facebook. You'll see a lot of the applications on there and what people are doing with it. You can do a lot with it.
On Facebook?
Yep. There's a Luban community page. Never
Facebook a
mind.
hard time.
Yeah, over my head. Sorry.
She's just trying to make us feel old.
I feel old now.
I'm mean. I know that.
Yeah.
No, I
Get
use
off my
Facebook.
lawn.
Just because it's my birthday this week, you're gonna go there. I see how it is now, Ellie.
I still use Facebook. No, it's actually embarrassing. If you go to old Facebook groups, I learned how to design 3D printers from that 3D printer builder designer group or whatever. That was
I
my
remember that.
favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great group.
I remember that group.
I spent before I was on Twitter. I spent so much time on all of the 3D printing groups, but or just
Back when they were
posting on
less
Reddit being
toxic.
how does power how does electricity happen? And people were just like, you are fundamentally misunderstanding a power supply.
How does electricity happen? Why are magnets?
How do they work?
I gotta
I
tell
don't
you,
know
it's
how I got
bad.
on that
amazing.
topic.
As a filament guy, I gotta tell you, it's bad because the whole time that Chris was showing off his model, I was looking behind him and identifying every roll on his shelf, including like a roll that
Ooh.
I gave him like yesterday.
Oh, so you stocked him up for the show and tell.
Oh yeah.
You
know,
you have good representation up there.
Oh yeah.
Lots of
We
proof
even-
cement, some printed salads, some
Enhance.
Enhance. We snuck him some of our new elixir silk stuff that we're finishing up here.
Ooh.
I cannot wait to get my hands on the elixir. I'm so sad I missed it at Earth.
Dave, can I bring this closer to the camera? Because I am.
Oh yeah.
All I
It's,
have are old original elixir rolls. I don't have any new stuff.
This
we're getting there.
I have one left.
This is richer and deeper in color than I remember of the same color of polyalchemy. This is clearly an improvement.
Is it
If the layers hold together better, it's a massive improvement.
Absolutely.
They do.
Is it less boogery? I mean,
Yes.
is it? I don't
We will
know.
know soon.
Boogery. It's
This
like
spool was
that
unsealed
drop from
in
a
my
little kid's
house
nose.
for a month and a half, and it's great.
A month and a half. That's nothing.
In Florida.
Okay, that's a lot.
I will point out that it is 79.7 degrees Fahrenheit and 58% ambient humidity, and there is a dehumidifier on.
Dude, it's 60% humidity indoors where you're at right now.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
77
God.
and raining outside.
That's so sweaty.
Like we should all
Welcome to
just
Florida.
agree that
Oh
Florida
my
shouldn't
gosh.
exist.
Yeah.
Oh, I am on board with that 100%. Sorry, I voted you off the island, or maybe I went on to an island.
Well, maybe I just pull a Shane and become a former Florida man.
There you go.
Yeah.
I was in Florida.
Prague is a nice place, man. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna find
Yeah.
out.
Are you going?
Maybe.
Yes, I'm hiding.
Yes. Yeah. We'll be there in a week.
Oh,
What?
exciting.
Wait, what's in Prague in a week?
Me.
Grant.
Nothing.
Oh, it's not an event. It is
no.
person.
There's not.
Okay.
No, not.
Okay,
an
that's
event.
what I was like. Should I go to Prague too?
If you want
missed
to,
that
totally.
The Prague Rep Festival is happening in 1 week.
Need
No,
a camera, Magel?
Ellie.
I like
No.
Prague a lot.
I'm causing trouble. I'm sorry.
I like Prague a lot.
Well,
Dang
that's
it.
okay. Here, I'm going to cause a little bit of trouble because, Grant was worried earlier about people recognizing him. When are people going to stop recognizing me for having some celebrity? And, because Grant's an awesome guy, as I understand. Grant, you're not going to have that recognition problem very soon.
I know.
So
It's gonna be so weird.
I think this is worth being talked about just a little bit. I know you don't like
Yeah?
to talk about you, but I think this is
I
a
don't.
good moment for you to talk about something what I personally think is rather incredible. And I will guarantee, at least for a couple of months, we might not be recognizing Mr. Grant. And I'll stop there
I'm
and let
so
him tell us
intrigued.
about
What's
this.
happening?
Grant's
I know what's
into
going on.
boot
This is
camp.
going to be amazing.
Grant's going to
All
boot
of
camp.
this is going away. We are going to be shaving my head at the Sanjay Mortimer Rep Fest.
I heard because I'm doing the auction and it's
Yeah.
during that. And
Yes.
I confirmed with Georgia that you're not shaving your head. We all are shaving your head. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. So I am awaiting E3D to decide how they want it, but the deal is we are going to be cutting my hair, donating it to the Little Princess Trust so they can make wigs. I cannot bring the hair back to the United States because now it's considered, once it's off your head, it's considered human remains. And they're not going to let me bring a brush that's like this long back to the States. So I have to have a charity in the UK. Little Princess Trust was the one that we chose. They are awesome. They're going to help us out there. But the top donors, and I'm going to put a parentheses around that S potentially, will be able to shave whatever they want into what is left of my hair.
Does that
And I will
include-
leave it like that all day Sunday when we film. And will it include the beard? Maybe.
Wow.
Currently it does not. I'm gonna use the beard as a way to get more donations and say, all right, we're coming to a standstill. I'm gonna open up my beard. Now the top donor gets to shave whatever they want to the beard too. As long as the only deal is we got to keep it family friendly, right? Because I got to film videos with it. So no thin mustaches on this boy here, but we are going to shave my head, and then I am going to have a really weird haircut all day Sunday, and then I'm going to be bald.
I really hope you are bald with mutton chops. That is my hope, my dream, if you will.
Well, then then it's time to break out the wallets because the top donors get to decide what happens.
Be amazing.
The
I
joke
can't
is
wait.
Bamboo is going to be the top donor. They're going to put Bamboo is awesome into my head or something. I'm like, that I'm totally fine with this. I don't care who does it. I am here. I want to raise as much money as possible for the Sanjay Mortimer Foundation to help neurodiverse makers, right? Because I am a neurodiverse maker, and I want to see people that wouldn't necessarily have the opportunity to get into this industry for a financial reason or whatever it might be, that they can reach out to this nonprofit and get that help. But this started 3 years ago. I had a back injury in April of 2020. In August of 2020, I was in a podcast on my own podcast where I promised that I would not cut my hair until my back was fixed. I have not put scissors to my hair in 3 years. So I've saved a ton of money on barbers. All right, but objectively, I don't, this doesn't work for me. And it's so hot in Florida. it is just a heater. But while my back is not perfectly fixed, it never will be. I have unfortunate news that my back is pretty much not going to get much better. And fine. But I have to cut my hair at some point, and this is the best time to do it. When it is the first time this event is going to occur, I have an opportunity to do a once in a lifetime thing where I've grown out my hair for 3 years and I can shave it off and have it benefit something way greater than me. Abso-freaking-lutely. Like without a hesitation, we're going to do that. So if you want the chance to shave whatever you want into my head, you better tune in to the live auction where Mr. Joel Telling is going to be auctioning off the rights to my head.
I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. Like the event itself, the
Oh
live
my God,
auction, it's
yeah.
all going to be wonderful. But like being able to, you're the cherry on top, Grant.
Now you have to
that sounds
remember,
like a very
though-
sour cake. I'm
His
sorry.
head's gonna resemble the cherry on top when
Yeah.
all is said and done.
You do have to remember
Don't-
though, is that if you shave your head at a certain age, there's a good chance a considerable portion of it won't come back.
I am
What if it comes
33.
back curly? What if it comes back like
it
curly?
is curly.
No, I mean curly.
Oh, well, there's
Curly?
more I'm half Cuban, half
That's so
Polish,
good.
so probably not.
Okay.
But I'm fine with it, I'll take it.
All I can say is after shaving your head, make sure you have some very good sunscreen handy.
We have beanies and ball caps ready. So yeah, because
Grant,
that
can I put a chocolate print on your head after you shave it and just have it melt?
You know what, Ellie, for the right amount of money.
I was
by
just
all
gonna say,
means,
for the right amount of
money to the
This
Sanjay
is
Mortimer
purely gonna be for
Foundation.
your YouTube channel.
You have, for the right amount of money to Sanjay Mortimer Foundation, talk with E3D, figure out what that number is. That is a deal. I will
the
make
joke
that
went
deal.
too far. No, I'm just kidding.
A chocolate
I-
veggie with syrup just oozing down. I see where this is going.
It's just a sundae, but with
The
chocolate.
things I do for charity. Or just
Oh, really?
$5
Tell me
a
about
day.
it.
I was gonna say, I feel like we're talking about the wrong charity.
Yeah, well, I didn't
But-
know that there were going to be a lot of mean things we could do to Shane until yesterday. Otherwise, I would have been promoting that more than some cool people being on the panels.
Well, let's see. There's another 20 some odd, 19 plus some odd hours. You can always, promote it and
Joel,
encourage the abuse.
Is it the
We love you,
is
Shane.
the auction that you're doing different than the auction that's currently going on with the silent auction thing?
The silent auction that's going on right now, I believe ends during the live auction that I'm going to be hosting. So the live auction
Okay.
is going to have specific live elements to try to get the audience to be able to also participate. It'll be open to everybody watching. I think it'll be streamed like last year as well. They're just E3D has a lot more things. Or I'm sorry, the foundation has a lot more things that they're able to auction off this year. And so in the we don't want to stream for 7 hours. We want to keep it kind of concise and to the point, and being able to offer high value items and really cool items. And then the ability to have people bid beforehand, I believe, is to get just more money generated, because they will have more than just that stream to be able to raise the money.
That makes sense.
Especially if it's an open bar.
I'm both excited and really, really nervous.
The layout of the event looks amazing.
Oh my gosh, it does.
If it's in an Oxford University in the lecture, people keep saying it's the Harry Potter Rep Rap Fest. Just that look of it, I can't wait.
No. I don't like the Harry Potter thing.
I've never been to Oxford University though. It's gonna look
Should
like
be
it's
gorgeous.
older than our country, right?
Probably.
Most
Most things on that side of the world are older than our country.
Right.
I think everything on that side of the world is pretty much older than our country at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, Oxford, I think of that old movie, Oxford Blues. Does anybody else remember that movie? Oxford Blues, 80s, 90s movie.
That was was it Biloxi or Blix?
No, it was Oxford.
There's Biloxi Blues, but
Joel, take a guess as to how old Oxford University is.
okay.
4
400
years old?
years.
No, not even
No?
close.
Like, am I off? Am I off? How far off am I from which? Like, is it much older or is it much younger?
It's much older.
Oh, it is. Okay. Okay, good. So a jillion years. I don't know.
Close.
Was it started in 1200?
Nope.
BC.
Older than that?
It is older than 1200.
Is it older than?
Wow.
So according to their Wikipedia page, grain of salt, obviously, there is evidence of teaching as early as 1096.
Oh, okay, Ellie, you were
Okay,
close.
so 1200 wasn't that bad.
Yeah, you're only off by
But you
100
were
years.
still high by 100 years.
Yeah, but in the scale of the
years, I
universe,
mean-
Grant, I mean,
In the scale of the universe here, okay, fine. But
Thanks, Joel.
you
Thanks, Joel.
you were off by like a quarter of the time in the United States.
wow, teachings as early as 1096, you said?
Yeah.
What were they teaching back then?
Oh, and when was King Arthur relative to all this and the whole Knights of the Round Table? I mean, it was
I
like
like how the
Merlin
stream has turned
educated
into
at
a history
Oxford?
lesson now.
Late 5th and early 6th centuries. So
K2 Kevin in the chat, they taught hieroglyphics. I don't think it's I think we're off by a couple millennia there.
Well, I
Oh.
found out actually with ancient Egypt, they had archaeologists because their civilization lasted for so long. They had their own historians and were doing their own archaeological digs on their own civilization.
Jeez.
Yeah,
That's cool.
how long. We're doing homeschooling for the teenager, and I'm in charge of her ancient history. So I'm finding out all these cool, weird facts now, and it's great.
That is a cool, weird fact.
Have you all watched Drunk History?
Yeah.
I think it's on
Yeah,
Netflix.
yeah.
oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Can I quickly I'm not trying to interrupt, but it's semi-related. Because I just had a very, very interesting donation for the raffles.
Ooh.
And I think
Oh.
you got, because you mentioned Egypt and everything else. So let me see if I can pull this up real quick. You guys see that?
It's still
Can you
taking
see
a
that?
Loading.
second. It's
Loading.
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 There it is.
You got
You
to
guys see that?
Hey.
It is an official inspired Stargate.
There we go.
look at that. Oh, that's cool. That's fantastic.
Shane, you killed your audio.
Whenever I do screen sharing, my Zoom crashes on me.
Rip.
That's
So
great.
unfortunately, but Mr. Hewlett donated 2 of these for the raffles.
Ooh,
Awesome.
that's exciting.
It's for Canada only, though. Sorry, guys.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Hey, Canadians are people too.
Well, people in the U.S. normally, get a good enough amount
We love
of
you,
stuff.
Liz.
So I'm gonna be
Except
giving that
healthcare.
away later.
Ooh.
Maybe we can have a reshipper ship it out if someone wins globally.
All right. And we're
Oh,
back.
Dr.
We should be
Randolph is
back
back?
to the regular. Yep. We should be back to the regular screen, right? Because my
I think so.
Yeah.
frozen.
We're good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Good
Dr.
doctors
Randolph.
here.
Doctor.
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 And
So
I
who-
Go ahead.
When do we get the new Doctor Who?
This year. Well, next year, right? Isn't it? Or is it Christmas time? Or
It's almost
There's-
Christmas. Is she done though, or is she?
She's done.
yeah, she's done. It's back.
Okay.
And so David
We're back
Tennant
to
is going to
Tenet.
have for a little bit though, right? Just a little bit of
For
David.
like 3 episodes.
Yeah. Hey, that's enough. I like David Tennant. It'll be wonderful. And then we get the other guy.
A special anniversary edition, so they broke it up over 3 episodes, and then the new Doctor starts next year.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch because I don't remember what happened to her at the end.
The specials are set to broadcast starting on the 25th of November.
Oh, Christmas Day. Oh, wait, of
No,
November?
November through the 9th of December. So
Oh, that's in.
Yeah.
That's in a week. That's in a week.
Joel's entire life just got better.
I'm so excited
Thanksgiving.
right now.
You would
It's a
think
day
I'm gonna eat turkey and watch
Yeah.
David Tennant. Like, I can't think of anything better.
leftover.
I didn't even think about that.
I'm gonna have to
That-
get BritBox.
I believe it's streaming on Disney Plus as well.
Yeah, Disney owns the rights to that, which is weird. But
It is.
but
But
you know
I'm
what?
happy
Whatever.
it's gonna be like in sync, and we don't have to sit there and like figure out weirdness to try to watch the episodes.
Like getting BritBox, Chris.
What justifies the new Disney prices I have to pay? for next
Yeah,
year.
that part sucked. That part
I
sucked.
just got that email.
Did it
For
go
me
up
though,
again?
like I understand, like all these streaming services have to make money, and it sucks, and they're charging too much, and I hate it. But the price of Disney Plus now is what, $10 a month, 12
I think
bucks
they
a
just
month,
went up to 13.
13
Yeah,
bucks a month.
13
or
now.
14,
You know,
yeah.
These streaming services were supposed to get us to stop paying for cable, and it feels like with all the streaming services that you want, you're just paying
For cable
well,
and
cable.
versions.
Because
But
everybody
you don't-
locked in the content, and so you
Yeah.
had to get multiple streaming services.
Yeah.
And so essentially your cable is just having to pay for all these stupid streaming services.
And you
James being
can't go back
tortured.
to cable because you're hooked on all the shows that are only on the streaming services.
You know, it's fine. And you know, to keep in theme with this section of the 1440 stream, makers making a living, what's really interesting about what we do is covering parts of pop culture and how 3D printing can affect it or change it or support it. And so those streaming services are a business expense.
Ooh.
If you
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
that is a fun thing with content creation, is that you can pretty much write off anything at this point because it's 100% tax deductible under marketing and advertising expenses.
Yep.
So that is a fun thing. So small businesses out there that are looking for tax deductions, start a YouTube channel. You can write off tons of stuff. That is not tax advice. I am not an accountant, but I mean, technically, if you are using it to get some sort of like
Market
idea
research,
for
R&D.
videos, yeah, if it's for market research, yeah, that is theoretically classified as a business.
Since I do events and cover events,
Dr. Randolph would know better.
clothing and on-screen stuff is a business expense.
Yes.
Mhm.
My business pays for the hoodies, man.
Just
Yeah,
remember,
I
when
mean-
it comes to
I can
these
write
business
off-
expenses, it's percentages.
Hey,
So if you're
Patreon
watching, if you watch Disney Plus for one show for work, and you only spend 10% of your time on it, then you can only deduct 10% of it.
See, this is what's great
100% of
because
what
I
you
don't
watch on
have a lot of
Disney.
free time. So of the stuff I watch on Disney Plus, all
Just
of it is
FYI.
for so I have an
Yeah.
account. Here's okay, if you're making a living doing this as well, it's in your best interest to find someone who knows tax laws, and you hire them to be able to take care of this stuff. Because once
Yeah.
you get to a certain point, you should farm out stuff to the people that know a lot more than you.
It's called delegation.
It's called delegation.
It
Yes.
is, do not, if you are the smartest person in the room, you are doing something wrong. Do not be the
You're in the
smartest
wrong
person in the
room.
room. That
You're
is
in the-
correct.
You're in the wrong room. Exactly.
Yep. And the one, like, it is a goal in life to not be on radars of 3-letter organizations. I think that is a very fair goal for most
That's
people.
a great goal. Yeah.
And the
Mhm.
IRS happens to be one of the toughest ones out there. Remember, Al Capone was not caught for being a gangster. He was caught for tax evasion.
Mhm.
And look, you can do a lot of things and get away with it. You can't steal from Uncle Sam. Don't do
Tax
that.
evasion won't work.
No,
I'm gonna
and
have to
saying
ask that-
I'm sorry, I didn't know often is not good enough.
And
I have to ask
I
the
don't know what it's
next
like in
panel.
other countries too. I know that Shane, you're in Prague, obviously in the Czech Republic. I
Mhm.
don't know what things are there as far as tax purposes for things, but I would assume there's probably a government agency with a website that can give you all sorts of information.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can sit there and like open up a website and put in salary before taxes, and it'll break down everything and give you the percentages and everything else.
That's
So
great.
That's
Wait,
cool.
I'm supposed to be paying taxes?
Hmm?
I'm supposed to be paying taxes?
Yeah, well, technically for U.S. citizens living abroad, no, it's I still have to file for U.S. taxes
Yes, you do.
Makes
living
sense.
abroad.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is oh so fun because they're not cheap over here.
Unless you were to give up your U.S. citizenship, then you'd have to pay Irish taxes.
No, because I'm still in the EU, so that wouldn't happen. But in order to, I actually looked into that because I was like, trying to figure out. 5 years ago, if I wanted to give up my U.S. citizenship, it would have cost me $2,500 to go to the U.S. Embassy
Wow.
and start that process. So no matter what, they're still going to get their money. If you want to do it the slow, painful way or the quick and even more painful.
That is the American way, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But let me give you some optimism just for all these wonderful business people here. Document everything, do everything right, be 100% legit. But if you ever get called for an audit by the IRS, just remember 80% of all audits that are done by the IRS end up in a refund, not in penalties.
Really?
Yes.
That's fascinating.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's just not the 80% you hear about.
Yeah.
Right.
You never
they-
hear about the
genuinely makes
IRS
me
giving
feel
money
better.
back.
Yeah, because
And I
don't
was-
forget, if they find out that you you overpaid, they all of a sudden sit there and go, all right, well, here's your check. Sorry about that. So keep your records, do everything right, and don't be surprised by it.
The other 20% ends up in jail time.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be or out of business.
Yeah.
Have you ever been audited? Has any of your 3D printing businesses been audited by the IRS?
I think it's better that we just don't say.
So anyways, the
Anyways.
question about the business write-offs for entertainment, I think we should bring that up to our next panel when that comes around, because that'd be very
Absolutely.
interesting. No.
The other thing, so from on the
It was
business
like-
side of things, though, I find it really interesting because of us having a global reach. Like everybody has the ability to talk globally. And one of the things that I talked about when going full time was for my kids to still see a doctor. And there was half the audience that was like, "Ooh, that's going to be tough." And then the other half was like, "What do you mean? See a doctor?
Oh.
Your kids can't see a doctor?" And so thus began the global conversation within the realm of like makers making a living for health insurance. And so that's just like with the tax situation here in the US, the health insurance situation is its own situation as well. And so for you out there, if you're ever thinking about turning your hobby into a full-time effort that would be the source of your income, just remember, if you want to go see someone to treat you when you're sick, that is a cost, a very hefty cost depending on your plan, and it's going to make your life terrible.
It is why a lot of entrepreneurs choose to maintain a full-time job until it is more than affordable for them to buy their own healthcare, or they get married and their significant other is the one that has the health insurance that they get to leech off of.
Dude, Ellie, let me say this really quick because this
go.
is amazing. I think that here in the United States, innovation is severely hampered and stifled because of the health insurance situation. I think that in the US, we would drive a lot more innovation and we would be able to achieve more if we had a different health insurance system.
You're not
never
wrong.
considered that. Yeah.
Joel, I have been waiting for 9 months to see doctors for my back. I was supposed to have an injection tomorrow. It got canceled. Guess the next time they can rebook it for?
9 months later.
It's at least 6 months.
Oh. I'm
That
sorry.
and they
dude.
canceled it on Friday.
I'm sorry, dude.
Look, it is what it is. Now I'm like, well, we were joking that I was just gonna marry Neil when I was in the UK to get those sweet health benefits while we were in the UK, and then we were gonna get it annulled before I left. So Neil, if you're listening, we might want to look for a priest or somebody that can take care of
Courthouse.
I don't think a priest would marry you guys in the UK.
Right. Gotta find someone who will.
Hey, Grant, I'm legally ordained. I could do it over the internet.
Did you get
Shane?
Universal
Shane,
Life
how you
Church,
feeling?
Chris?
Shane?
The ULC?
Yeah, well, you would have to
Shane,
bring.
I'll go get a
no,
Diamondback nozzle. I'll print a ring real quick. I'll make something.
Why did I get suckered into this?
Because you're here. And you're not in the US.
I think you're the
You have
only person not in
nightmares
the
that
US right now.
Grant's gonna be chasing me around and saying, "Marry me."
I can see that just going down the aisleways of Earth, Grant chasing Shane everywhere.
No.
Grant's going up to each person. Will you marry me? Will you marry me?
Will you marry me?
She's probably talked to Amber about this, but
She's
Just
cool.
hold
with
up
it.
a
It's fine.
sign.
Okay, great, perfect.
She's like,
I will marry
she
you
was
for
cool
health
with Neil. I'm sure
benefits.
she'll be cool with Shane. I'm waiting for the message to come in now of whether or not she's cool with it, but I'm sure she's.
No, but back to the health insurance thing. I think it's one of the reasons why, if you're under 26, it's a great time to start a company.
That's
because
correct.
As someone who did it under 26, I was still on my parents' health insurance for a while, and now I have worse health insurance. And
And you
I'm
pay more
very
for it, a
excited.
lot
It
more
is
for it.
December,
Yes.
and I can change my health insurance again. So I need to start doing that research. But
Yeah. Being an adult has a lot of unexpected costs.
I don't recommend it to any kids out there watching.
Nope.
I'm just
Don't
kidding.
get
No, I
over it.
very much recommend it.
Yeah,
What,
just
Get about
stay a kid as long
18
as
and
you can.
stay there.
I've been fiddling with his spool tape, and I accidentally broke it just now.
Oh no.
Oh,
I've been
no.
fiddling with it this whole time.
And this is the
Oh,
reason that
poor
we cannot
Limer
have nice
Green.
things. Stop.
Oh.
Lay it down on the good side and transfer it to another spool before it turns.
Oh.
Ellie,
Oh,
Ellie,
no.
don't pull it. Don't pull it, Ellie, please.
Oh,
This
that
is
that's
my
Limer
friend's spool.
green too.
I'm at my
It's the
friend's
best
house. I'm
green.
not at my
Don't
house.
turn it into spaghetti. Don't
And-
do it. You can fix it.
And
Dustin's
here
trying.
comes the support email about how it was twisted on the spool from the factory.
What was? I'll email Dustin.
Dustin's gonna be super upset. That's like that color is
That's his
special to his
custom.
heart.
That's
That's
his
his
color.
color.
That's
It's
a
green.
good color.
And
It's a
click
good
that and
color.
send it to Dustin.
Oh,
Oh,
Ellie, that is not a fidget toy.
Ellie, you're gonna
Put the
regret
filament
this.
down.
You're gonna
Oh, no,
regret when
she-
you have a kilogram of a balled up slinky.
Ellie's on timeout.
Don't do it.
Ellie needs a spool rewinder. Says, "Are you kidding?"
Oh, Uncle Jesse's here in the chat.
Oh no!
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry.
It hurts.
Well, now
It's
I know
just,
that my friend whose place I'm at right now is not watching because
You
she'd
just
be
need
texting
a
me.
drill, right? A drill and an adapter, and you can wind it back and
Yeah.
Just
I
hot
don't
glue
know.
the side back on and deal with the problems later.
Does she
easy
have any
peasy.
empty spools?
From makers making a living to 3D printing horror stories.
Glue and clam.
No, those are synonymous.
Honestly, I bet this group has a lot of very interesting horror stories in relation to trying to make a living with 3D printing, whether a print failed for a video or customers that won't leave you alone, stuff like that. That's customer support. Some of the hardest thing with making a living is just dealing with people who might not agree with you.
Yeah.
Anytime you're selling something and shipping it out, you have to say a little prayer and bless the package, or else it's not going to be received, or it's going to be received wrong, or people are just going to complain and expect a refund for something that isn't your fault. And that's why I don't sell on Etsy anymore, because it just became too much of a headache to maintain all that, and I didn't have time for it, and it wasn't worth the return that
and
I
the
got
Etsy
from it.
fees.
Oh man.
Like again, they have a business to run, but it's over 12% now, right?
It's
almost
up
25.
there.
Almost
almost
25. I am in the
Between
wrong
everything,
business.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They advertise for you off site and then tell you to pay
You
for
pay
it.
for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll advertise for you and then make you pay for it. And it's
Even
per
though-
click. It's crazy.
That sounds like extortion.
You go up against it, like going up
You wanna
against
go-
Etsy. It's like going up
No.
against the U.S. healthcare system, man.
Look,
It's
my
like
business.
going up against Amazon.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for those of you that are looking to start a 3D printing business, a lot of you say, well, I can just sell to the general public. You will quickly realize how bad of a decision that is. And this is not to be mean to the
Making
general
me feel
public,
so
but
helpful right now.
I'm sorry, but the general public, myself included, we all kind of suck as customers. Okay. We are used to dealing with Jeff Bezos where it just kind of things are taken care of. That's not how it works with small businesses. I prefer to do big contracts with big companies, right? Because they're understanding, it's simple, it's one point of contact, and you get to do a lot of parts for one person rather than one part for a lot of people. And don't get me wrong, spinning up a print farm is great. And I have to laugh now because now that we've upgraded our cameras, I can't run NDA parts behind me because now you can see what's running behind me, so I can't do that anymore. But it's like we have a contract right now that's a $25,000 or $30,000 contract. The average consumer is not going to bring that to my door. Just not happening.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. And when you try to charge rates that are worth your time, remember your time has value. Please remember that your time has value. And if you try to bill for that rate, you're going to realize that a $20 or $25 Magai Beer Dragon, you're working for literally negative money.
Yep.
And I hate to see so many people try to start these Etsy businesses and all they want to do is just be the cheapest. They want to be the cheapest. They want to be the cheapest. But they forget that their time has value. It's so true.
So we're in the process of getting our little print shop stuff up and running. That's been my main focus for this year, since having the little one. And I actually had a sale where I went into the negative $40 between shipping, material, everything like that. And it ended up having like 4 failed prints. So I'm sitting here going, it would have been 2 rolls of filament, but I ended up using 5 rolls of filament. And now I'm in a hole.
Mhm.
Still turned out amazing. But
the biggest thing I would tell everyone is that if you're going to start a business, do not shoot for that cheapest price and the price they need in your garage, because you will find out that you'll never be able to get your business out of the garage. You have got to set your prices and plan for your insurance. You've got to plan for your Social Security payments. You got to plan for employees, warehousing, and you have to build that into your pricing now, because as soon as you move out of Etsy in your garage, you're going to find yourself sitting there having to raise your prices, and you just lost all your customers and you just started all over again 100%. So don't write your cost as what it's costing you now. Write your cost as what's going to cost you later.
That's good. That's good advice right there, David. You're having to if you start in your garage and you price for the garage, you're always going to be in the garage. You have to think ahead. It's always better to have less customers that pay more than more customers that pay less.
That is correct. If you double your prices and you lose half of your customers, you are making more net profit because you are not dealing with those variable and fixed costs from those clients that you lost. You are making more money if you double your price. And I don't know why. Is this consistent across all industries? But it feels like the maker industry sees this a lot, where makers don't value their time because other people don't value their time. So they naturally don't value their time. And so they make stuff for pennies on the dollar. And they're like, oh, I made this part that's 150 grams and I sold it for $20. Yeah, but it took 13 hours on your machine. You had 15 minutes of cleanup for it. You had to store it. You then had to transport it to the fair. You had to set up the table. You had to pay for the banners and the table space and the power. You sure you made good money? on that?
It's part of the mindset though comes from, remember the TiVo 3D printers, and a lot of
Yes.
people didn't recommend them because they were too much work and they required too much effort to get going. And you had that contingent of people who said, no, they're fine. Go buy it and spend the 80 hours to upgrade it and you'll have a great machine. And I think that mindset, while it's completely valid, I think that people think if they can do it, if they have the time and the knowledge to do it, they think more people are able to do it, and therefore their situations are not valid. And it was crazy to run across that and have to explain to people not everybody has a spare 80 hours or the technical know-how to do the upgrades to this thing. Some people, and they don't have the time. Just so I think that relates to it.
Hour. At $10 an hour.
That's a raise, man.
Okay. All right. Well, price time at $10 an hour. That's less than minimum wage in some areas. 80 hours, that is $800. That buys you a lot of 3D printer right now.
I think what some people do in this crafting space, I'm going to say coming from the crafting space, and it bleeds into this, but I think people are pricing more for the payday, if you will, rather than pricing for profitability of the product. And what I mean by that is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to print up all this stuff, or I'm going to create all these things, and I'm going to go to this show this weekend. And my goal for the show this weekend is that I make $1,000 or $1,200. When your goal is to go to the show and make $1,000 or $1,200, you're not planning to be profitable. You're planning to make
absolutely
at a dollar amount, and you got to look at that. It's what stage of business are you in, and how are you look at it? In the very early days, you can do that, but as you grow, you can't afford to do that. To Grant's point, you got to put your time in there. And your point, who's got an extra 80 hours to create stuff and not value for that? I sure as heck don't.
No.
But I think that's what a lot of people do, especially in this space where you can go ahead and you can spend, a couple of minutes at night, hit play, go to sleep, let the printer do its thing, and then wake up in the morning and, you got a little pile of money there.
I mean,
the thing a lot of people tend to miss on that is like poor Grant there. He has to sit there and he'll charge, hypothetical price. Let's say he's charging $10 an hour for print time and $50 an hour for design time. That print may take 10 hours to print, but it took Grant 20 hours of work because he had 10 hours to print. He's got 5 hours of maintenance. He's got 5 missed starts he has to deal with. And then
the opportunity cost of not running those machines for somebody else.
That's right. And then you've got your $50 an hour design service as a price. And they don't understand that by the time you're done with your design, sure, you may bill them for 10 hours of design, but it realistically was 15 hours you spent in front of that computer working on something.
I mean, here's a great example. I can't show you guys the part because the parts are under NDA. This is the support material from the part. This is over 500 grams of resin.
This in the support? Really?
This is just support material. Yes.
Wow.
And this is from an Elegoo Jupiter. These parts have to be angled in such a way because they're so big. They don't fit into any consumer grade resin printer on the market without crazy, angles and such.
Jeez.
So your waste cost is $40 on that one print right there, minimum.
Oh yeah, and we're using Soraya Tech Blue Tough Nylon Black, $50 a liter resin.
Good resin.
Yeah,
good resin.
It's a I love. Oh my god, this resin is amazing. It's fully cured and it's flexible. This is gonna be one of my new go-to resins. God, it stinks though. My whole house, my house smells like alcohol and resin.
Is that why? Okay, maybe. So when you got up for a moment, I was like, "Oh, Grant's not wearing pants."
I'm wearing shorts.
But your shorts are tan.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah, they're close.
Yeah. So I thought you got up. I was like, "Is Grant in his underpants? Is this what's going on here?"
Hey, look.
It's Florida.
It's that kind of Florida show, man. Yeah, it's Florida. That's fair. But like this
Florida, man.
I'm not going to tell you guys what I'm charging for it, but let's say it's more than $500. And it's a 24 this one piece was 25 to 26 hours. Another one just finished was 28 and a half hours at 50 micron layers, by the way. If you charge double cost, right? Let's say it's an entire bottle. Let's say you charge $100 for it. you are losing money hand over fist.
Mhm,
You have to, like, I am accounting for a 20% failure rate. Knock on wood, we haven't had a single one. But I'm accounting in my pricing for a 20% failure rate and in my timing for a 50% failure rate. Because I would much rather deliver early than have to make a phone call and say, I'm sorry, it won't be there on time. Because if you're early, you're on time. And if you're on time,
You're late.
You sound
That's
like a
correct.
high school basketball coach.
Oh, I sound.
That was my band director.
That's true business right there.
It
And Ellie, you just keep playing with that spool over there, don't you?
At this point, at this point, it's already Printed Solid's fault. No, I'm just kidding.
Clearly, you know what?
I like stepped on the spool too. It's the thing they do.
Soon enough, she's just gonna have it like twirled all around over the shoulders, and it's a
Honestly, I
fashion
might just go
accessory.
for it for fun. Maybe if someone
Knit it.
donates to this stream, I'll
So
keep having
okay,
fun.
let's take this as an opportunity to
Oh, no.
try and so like let's say that happens to someone else, or it happened to Elliot. It does happen to people. Spools can come apart. What is the best way for someone to recover a spool of filament once that has happened? Is the only recourse to rewind it yourself, or are there any tricks that can be employed?
Yeah, there's a trick. Throw it in the trash and buy another one.
No, Grant, no.
It's not worth the time. The amount of time you're going to spend respooling that spool is going to be way more than that.
But you are taking your own situation into account here, and you're not letting someone else value their own time and what it's worth to them.
It is a fun experiment. If you don't do what Ellie does, you could try to glue the side of the spool back on and pray.
Oh yeah, this was totally fine when I first started, and then I just continued fidgeting with it.
Yeah, you did this. You did that one to yourself,
and this is why I prefer chocolate spools, right? Because even if you mess them up, like what am I this one's broken. So I
just be like chewing on it.
I broke it. Oh no, I can just eat it. Fact.
That's
okay.
See that's amazing. Dave,
Like
when is
yeah.
edible Printed Solid Jesse Elixir coming?
Well, I mean, it's already edible.
Yeah,
Whether it's
technically.
survivable is a different term.
Yeah, everything is technically edible.
But I'll tell you from a business standpoint, a fun thing about those spools. So we of course started with plastic spools. Everybody, they sit there and they go, "Oh, you need to be more environmental and all that stuff." And I go, "Yeah, I agree with that." And we actually went to a spool that had a metal hub with cardboard sides.
I remember that.
I really liked that. I spent
Those
several
were great.
months. Yeah, I spent several months developing it, but that supplier missed every.
Got it first, Ellie.
That supplier missed every single deadline on me.
These are so good.
I would have to spend 3 to 4 months going back to plastic spools between those.
Yeah,
I see.
And I negotiated with him and argued with him, and I said, I don't care. Let's raise the price and just get me the right spools. And they just never could deliver. And so I then had to move back to the solid cardboard. Now the solid cardboard ones, I got the side sticker, so I didn't have any of that, flexing problems or anything like that. But the very first batch of those, they used a standard glue for them. And we noticed we started getting some support tickets for the sides really just falling off, not getting tore off or mishandled or anything, but literally falling off. And we found out that people were drying their filaments.
The heat.
And it was causing it to fall, to unglue.
Oh no.
So I then had to go back to that manufacturer, and now we use a special high temp glue for our sides. Even though people shouldn't be drying their filaments like they are drying their filaments, but that's another debate.
It's not wet filament.
Hey,
That's right.
Dave, I'm gonna do a commercial for you right now. You don't need to dry your printed solid filaments because Dave has already dried it and dried it and dried it. It's like 48 hours of drying.
But
that
Chris,
the
they
pellets
put it
go
through a water bath as soon as it's extruded.
That
It's
stuff is
obviously wet filament.
Shut up, Grant. Stop doing that. It's as dry as it can be, and Dave goes through great care to ensure that, because he's printed with wet filament and he hates printing with wet filament. So he makes sure that what he puts his name on, that filament is dope. It's good stuff. Don't
It's
dry it,
dry.
just use it.
And it's made in
So-
America.
Yeah.
I
But
want
we had
I want
to-
just a little repeating video of Chris going, "It's dope." I just want
Exactly.
that. I want that as I want that as a GIF I can
As a
reply
GIF?
to on Twitter.
But
That's
no,
dope.
Open SCAD.
it's funny. So that's why we had to move to the higher glue. And now, because all the and then this is a business kind of thing, all the compromises of me trying to get away from plastic spools to cardboard spools, I am now spending more money on a cardboard spool than the plastic spool. In order to kind of keep that motivator to it. So
It's really hard when being environmentally conscious costs more.
yeah.
Also, pro
Yes,
tip
it
for
is.
those that have a bunch of cardboard plastic spools laying around, put them on Facebook Marketplace. This is the right time of the year to do it. Give them away for free, because you can put holiday lights on them, extension cords. They make great cord reels for things. You can get rid of them. I leave a box by my, I have a cardboard box that I put out by my mailbox. I fill full of plastic spools. We put up 3 different posts a month, and they're always gone. People come out and take them. It's awesome.
And you know, people with
Go ahead.
go ahead, sorry. Go ahead, Carson. You're first.
We went to BJ's the other day, and they actually have pretty much spools that you can sit there and buy. I'm like, why would somebody buy this? Why?
I think that when you give them away, I think people have great ideas, like we all do, and then they just sit. And then most of them then get thrown away, but in someone else's trash. That's what I think happens.
Yep.
I mean, I want them to be used. Like, I want them to be useful and to wind all the Christmas lights and all the extension cords and all the belts and all the whatever. But at some point, they just go in someone else's trash, I think.
Hang on. I got to show you guys something.
I didn't mean to be a downer there. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
This is going to be interesting.
Now, I will tell you
Yeah.
though, most people that are using those black plastic spools, like the ones we were on there for a while, those black plastic spools, they all have 20% regrind of ABS, so they do have recycled ABS in them.
Nice.
And they're cheap too.
Yeah,
So this
they
is-
are dirt cheap.
Look at that. I see Protopasta. I see Polymaker. What else you got in there?
I got some.
No, that's a stack of
solid-
spool ends.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's spool ends. I use a little bit of glue, just the minimum amount to tack them together.
Yeah.
I'll get it out till it's a couple of feet long, and it's a bonfire starter. When we go to the beach, it's bonfire starter, or
Oh,
go
yeah.
camping. Start a
Oh.
camping
Oh, I
fire.
kind of like that.
Make sure the
That's
glue is
very
okay to
nice.
be burned.
Yeah, it's a water-based glue.
Okay.
You know, it's.
That's
I mean,
a fun
just
idea.
Students wood glue. It's
That
I mean,
is
it's
a
not going in
really
a trash
fun
can.
idea.
I'd end up using newspaper or something to start the fire anyway.
You know, if we're talking spool ends, though, there's all sorts of ways of being able to combine those into even like furniture.
Sure.
I was about to say, the first thing that came to my mind as I was looking at that, I'm like, you've got a little chase there for electric. You know, you can turn that into a lamp.
You can do whatever you
I love
want. Make a
lamp.
cat pole out of it.
Oh,
The protopasta ends where they're corrugated would make a great cat pole, cat scratcher.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Victoria, do you
That's
use
a really
cat
good idea.
scratcher?
But so I mean, there's practical uses for them. You know, even the cardboard ones, other than just throwing them away. You know, I mean, granted, we're talking about burning, or I'm talking in this case about burning something, but we would use newspaper or something else anyway to start the fire. Might as well use what I have. I mean,
good
back when
idea. That's a really
we
good
were
idea.
kids, we had those newspaper rollers that would roll newspapers up into a log. And we use those for our fires. So
That's a good idea. Actually, being able to, repurposing is really just being able to take something and use it again for another purpose. So,
Yeah.
as a fire starter, that's fun. And it's fire. Fire's cool.
just don't tell Wexter.
cool. Fire.
Yeah. And the inner cores, I don't have any here, but if you take 3 of the inner cores, take the one of them and put a couple of slices on it, and so they'll fold in a little bit, you can use that as a coupler to join them together.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I still want to take, like, I like this idea of making spool furniture, being able to take the sides and kind of cake them together with glue into the shape of the back of like a couch, and then having the middle parts together as like the arm of the couch. Like, I bet this could be done. Like, all right, cool. I'm gonna
There's
just
a lot
write that
of
down.
others.
I like that idea.
Yep,
There's
that's
a
that's
lot
a
of
video
woodworkers,
idea right
yeah.
there.
I need places to sit in my studio, and I could print my furniture, or I could just make my furniture from things that were used to print other things.
You can make
So
some
I
nice
was at
bar
a
stools out of them.
conference. I was at a conference with Matt Stoltz. I don't know, 6 months ago or whatever. Ed Tech conference in Philly, and there's these cardboard chairs at one of the booths, and it's the end of the conference, and Matt just goes up to them and goes, "Are you gonna keep those chairs? Like, are you about to throw those out?" Because they were gorgeous, fanned out cardboard chairs. So I'm just imagining that.
Okay.
That's a very Matt Stoltz thing to do.
Oh, it was incredible. And then the person was like, come back and talk to our manager. And then the manager was like, no, you cannot have our chairs. But I appreciated that.
Some of the motels in Japan, the little cube hotels, they have flat pack cardboard beds. So it's just one piece, and it goes in, the sides fold up, folds out, and it's sturdy enough, to hold weight. The mattress is made out of some sort of a recycled thing. And after you're done with your stay or whatever, that goes back in, gets recycled again, and a whole new piece of cardboard furniture comes in.
That's a fun idea. Dang it, that's cool. That is cool.
It's this weird issue with polystyrene as a plastic too, because polystyrene is infinitely recyclable, but it is so bad for the environment and the process.
Infinitely recyclable at the industrial level.
Correct. Yeah.
Like, it's not like us humans cannot do it. We need really expensive machines to do it.
Yeah. I will say there is some research out of Ohio State University right now for utilizing specially bred lion's mane mushrooms to break down basic plastics, and they're testing with PLA and PETG.
I didn't think that I would be hearing those words today. Specially bred lion's mane mushrooms. So there's something in them that breaks down the plastic elements within.
Mushrooms are the great decomposers. That's their function in the ecosphere. They break down what can't be otherwise broken down. They'll use mycelium to break down oil and oil spills.
And that's why they're dangerous, and we get Last of Us happening, right?
Yeah.
Because then they break down humans.
And the trick is, the team I'm working with has actually had pretty decent success. I send them boxes of sorted supports and print failures and that thing, and they're having like really, really good success.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not perfect. They're still detecting microplastics in the compost, but like they put over a kilo into it and they detected like 20 grams.
Oh,
it's not. It is a massive difference, and the compost
That's a strong
is
reduction.
Yeah, it's they want to get to 0 so that you can use the compost for plants, like for potatoes, carrots, things that grow in the ground that would then have the microplastics in it if there were microplastics in the compost. They're happy with it for like yards and like planters and stuff that are just
flower
for
beds,
show,
right?
not for go.
Yeah.
But for farming, they are moving toward 100%. They are currently going through the dilemma that pretty much every company that is in this ecosphere goes through. Do we release it open source and let the average person do it? Or do we sell it and make these kids are not out of college yet, and they have binding letters of intent that are convertible whenever they choose for millions of dollars to local recycling companies to license the product for X amount of years for a ton of money.
That's amazing.
If we can look at solving the 3D printing waste is a big deal, right? We are actively contributing to landfills filling with plastics. But if we can find ways to solve this, I think we solve that one kind of problem with 3D printing that subtractive manufacturing doesn't have, because there are recyclers for the metal. There's not really recyclers for the plastic right now. And if we can solve that problem, we solve a huge barrier to entry for some people in this industry. And you can make it functionally fully recyclable at home.
That's the ticket. At home. At home.
Yep.
That's the holy grail right there. At home.
And in a way, it kind of makes 3D printing tasty again. If you're into it.
Hey, a mushroom printer, you know, that goes right with a chocolate printer, right?
That's what happens to all my scrap. Goes in a just generic cake pan, gets melted down into these bricks, and I use them in the garden as paving stones.
Yep.
Well, there you go.
I eat my scrap.
That's like a cheat code, Ellie.
That can really say that.
The only zero waste 3D printer that we know of.
Unfortunately, when you get to my age, Ellie, you won't be able to keep eating that scrap.
I had to buy an additional 600 pounds of chocolate last week because we just accidentally went through way more than we expected. Partially due to partially due to me spending too many late nights in the office, and partially due to people buying more chocolate and us having slightly higher failure rates. But I have so much chocolate. I actually
so sorry you
eat
had to
all of
order
them.
more chocolate because you're having good sales.
All right.
So sorry.
It's so difficult.
Yeah.
I had to buy more wheelbarrows this week because of all the money that came in.
Before Ellie starts to
Oh,
trigger
God.
everyone else for a chocolate fix and everything else, our next panel is ready to come in. And I am sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I'm the bad guy. I apologize. I'm just trying to, keep everything semi on schedule.
Keep it
Well,
going,
I'll tell
man.
you what. I'll tell you what. If you guys want to, you can hang out for a bit, say hi to the next group, because the next panel we have coming up is 3D printer makers. People in the making community who basically specialize in building their own 3D printers. All right. And we have an amazing group. We have Nero 3D, we have C Builds, Modbot, the people from Makers on Tap are going to be in it. So we're going to bring them all in at the same time. Then you guys can say hi and bye. And I would like to thank everyone here for helping us. I'm even afraid to look at the
new total.
rewards. New total.
2644.50.
Ooh.
Wait, what? No, you need to refresh. $2,669.50.
Nice.
Going
Nice.
to the
Even better.
Hawaiian Community Foundation. All right, let me bring these guys in before they lynch me. Hold on, and we'll bring them all in all at the same time.